Today is the day. We are finally getting this car done. Well, that was about the fastest mod ever. Coming to a racetrack everywhere now. Holy shit, guys, the car is fully painted. Oh my God, it looks so sick. All right, guys, today is the day. We are finally getting this car done. Pretty much 100% in this episode. So we're here, Race Cars Unlimited, and we're buttoning up all the final bits that this thing needs before it goes off to paint. We're gonna shoot this thing into color, we're gonna get it back here, we're gonna finish it up, and then we're gonna take it to the track. It's finally what I've been waiting for. Let's go inside and see what Jarek's up to. Let's get this car ready to go off to paint. All right, one of the last things we're gonna do to this car before it's prepped and ready is install a fire suppression system for driver safety and car safety. So the guys over at Lifeline provided us with a really sick kit, and basically what it is a fire extinguisher for your car. Pretty simple. When you're putting a lot of time, effort, and money into your car, you wanna try to protect it as well as you can, but it's not always to save the car. This is actually to give the driver as much time as possible to get out in the event of a fire or an accident. So super important we get this done, and Jarek's done a ton of these, so he's probably done with this already while I just started shooting this intro. Well, I see you got the tank mounted already. Yeah, so what's this now?
So this is the first nozzle that goes to the engine bay. Yeah, so we're gonna split it up, put one more in the middle, put one more on the other side, and that should cover up the engine bay area.
Nice. And then you just have to mount some pull switches.
Yeah, we have this, pull cable that's going to be used to activate it.
Okay, so I'll mount a little tab on the roll bar here.
And make it, accessible outside and the driver at the same time.
Nice. All right, so while Jarek's doing the fire suppression system, I got a couple things I want to button up. Got a whole table of little parts we need to add. So right now, when we put the MCS in, the reservoirs have just kind of been hanging out in the trunk. So I got some brackets for these from this brand called Renscott. This is actually really cool. This dude reached out on Instagram. He was nice enough to send them over and even hit me with a note. They just bought his first E36. He's been following the build. So super cool. Cole, thanks for the support, man. You guys want to check out the stuff. It looks really cool. So we've got some reservoir mounts here. They look really nice, and they come with riv nuts. So what we could do is actually pick a spot, drill some holes, and then we'll mount the reservoirs using the supplied hardware. And then he also sent some of these really cool harness reels. So basically when you mount your harnesses, you don't have to do the whole roll up and zip tie move. You can actually make them look really nice and neat. So we got some Lifeline harnesses here, got some Aero catch, and some new seat brackets from Garagistic, because from what I've seen, they are the lowest and the easiest to install seat brackets out there. So I need to get those on ASAP. So let's start by mounting these reservoirs in the back, and then we'll move to the front. All right, we got the MCS reservoirs installed. We got the Renscott mounts, which look great, super nice. You got the compression adjustment right back here. The line's going out to the shocks. It worked out great. This plate will just come up, and it houses the entire Deechworks fuel system under here, which is now nice and tucked away down there. And per a lot of regulations, you're actually supposed to have your fuel system separated from the cabin, so that piece will actually help it be more compliant to tech of various different groups. So that's good. We got those in. Gonna move on to the front.
Let me tell you a little something about the joys of working on a low production number vehicle, like the Evo. They didn't make a ton of these, so that means OEM parts are either really expensive or they just don't make them anymore. Like this bumper reinforcement piece that I had to order. It's a small piece of stamped metal that Mitsubishi does not make anymore, but eBay Motors have them with guaranteed fit. That means that I have this year, make and model plugged in. I know when I order that part and it shows up here, it's gonna fit and it's gonna be for this car. As you can see, don't mind the zip ties, that's, I'd take care of that later. As you can see, the grille itself, perfect fit. Right out the box.
All right, so we got the fire system in. Jarek got this plumbed up super quick. So we got tank here that routes the lines up to the engine compartment. And we got one nozzle on the passenger side fender well. We got one in the middle, and then we got one on the driver side fender well. That's pretty much it. All it's left to do is mount up the pull handles. So the way Jarek likes to set it up is to do one on the driver side A-pillar and then one right in the middle. This way, if anything happens, it's easy for either you or someone else to come and grab that handle. We'll get those set up, and then this thing goes off to paint. One of my favorite things that Jarek created, this is his signature fender, and I think it's gonna become an E36 thing. Chop the lower fender and move it in, and this is cool. This is just an OEM fender that he cut. I love it. It kind of reminds me of like the S2000 fenders from Jay's that have a nice like vent on the bottom side of the fender, and it looks super cool. So before we send my car off to paint, we're gonna chop some lower fenders, because these fenders have vents. But let's be honest, they're kind of like drift hot boy fenders. The vent's a little high, so giving the lower fender that angle will actually help release some of the pressure coming out of the fender well. Dude, what made you think of doing this? Because no one's done the lower fender. I haven't seen anyone do the lower fender.
We've seen them on some race cars and they're like kind of gnarly. So when Bailey asked me to do it, I was like, dude, this thing's not gonna come out good. And then it came out fine.
It came out nice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Japanese cars do that. Like that fender look on S2000s and RX-7s and all that. It's very popular, but no one's really done it on the European cars.
Yeah, well, with this one, it's all about function. That's why he said, like, you know, no matter what happens, just fold that thing in to get most of the air out.
Yeah, and then it turned out to actually look nice.
Yeah, they're not nice, so now you want it to.
I like it, I dig it. I think it looks super cool. Well, that was about the fastest mod ever. Dude, that looks sick. Oh, I love it. Dude, nice work, real quick. Well, now we shared with the world the Jarek E36 fender mod. Coming to a racetrack everywhere now for the best free mod you can do.
$5 mod.
To Strasbourg. You know these guys, Ivan paints most of our cars. He's done a lot of work for me in the past. He hasn't come outside yet, even though this thing's idling, so let's go pull around back and we'll make it known that we're here. Hey, you not hear me or what?
I heard that.
What's up, dude? You guys all know my buddy Ivan. He's the guy who comes in clutch every time I bring him some cobbled together piece of junk that I put some fiberglass body panels on. But Ivan is killing it right now, or we're killing you, I don't know.
A little bit of both.
This is now the time frame that everyone is gonna expect you to do things, at least at Hoonigan.
Looks good.
He's always way too nice on camera. So Ivan had this car about a year or so ago, painted the interior and the engine bay, knowing that we'd come back later on and get the exterior painted. Now we just got a couple little fittings to do and we'll get this thing painted. What do you think?
Looks good, dude. It's gonna look really good.
So Big Ron Car is installing this fresh new Hoonigan branded battery box in his Evo, which is now running and dyno tested at a savage number. But if you notice, Ron's running an ATX 30 HD anti-gravity battery. This thing is savage. 970 cranking amps, and here, can you catch that? Here, just how light that thing is.
Super light, super light. And what we did too is we had to relocate the battery from the front to the back. So we did the cable extension and anything. And honestly, I think the cables might weigh more than the battery itself, which is wild. So I'm gonna be putting this ATX 30 HD. So I'm just gonna slide that on in.
Another cool thing about the anti-gravity batteries is they have a built-in full battery management system, so it basically keeps the battery from overcharging, over-discharging, short-circuiting. It basically helps to extend the life of the battery. So if you want to get one for yourself, you can actually click the link in the description below. If you feel like typing it in, you can go to antigravitybatteries.com, and you can use code Hoonigan at checkout and get 15% off the batteries. Nice. Nice.
Holy shit, guys. The car is fully painted and I'm so stoked. I always say there's parts in a project where you gotta just have another piece that gets you motivated, and seeing this thing look like a piece of crap for so long really killed motivation, but oh my God, it looks so sick. Dude, this color rips. Wow, this thing looks awesome. Fuck, I'm stoked. All right, guys, we are back at Race Cars Unlimited. The car's back from paint. We've been working on it the last couple of days, and it's so close to being done. I'm so excited, but we got some budget cuts, and I didn't have any batteries for this camera, so
You're lying.
I missed out on filming some of it, but I'm gonna get you up to speed. We've been thrashing on this thing to get it done for test day, 2 days at Button Willow with our friends from Bimmerworld. Then we're going straight from there to Laguna Seca Grid Life. But man, ready? Goddamn, this thing looks so sick. I cannot freaking believe this is the same car. Seeing it with the wheels and the final ride height and the alignment looks epic. So here's what I've been doing. Since I got the car back, picked it up from Ivan, did a beautiful paint job on this thing. It's BMW Evergreen. It's a color from a Z3 M Coupe, a pretty rare color. I saw a picture of one, I friggin' loved it. It was perfect for what I wanted to do, and it looks awesome. So since we got the car back, started installing the Aero. So we got a Bimmerworld carbon wing here. This is a trunk mount, and it's the reason why I actually ran the stock metal trunk instead of that DTM Fiberworks fiberglass trunk, because it mounts to the deck lid, not to the chassis of the car. So we got that thing set up with some preliminary settings. It's really nice because it's got adjustable markings front and rear, so we could change the angle and the height of the wing. Then I mounted the Evo 2 front splitter. This is chassis mounted, super rigid, and it actually is an under tray too. That'll be nice. Got the hood pins installed, got the seats in. So these are actually the Recaro Profi XLs out of my E36 M3 from forever ago. Got some Lifeline 6-point harnesses with the Garagistic mounts. And then these pretty snazzy RS Pro harness rollers, which I have set up on the other side. Got the Hoonigan wheel installed. This thing's coming along. It's been a lot of work. We've been smashing to get this thing done. And you guys know me, I'm all about fit and finish and making a car look nice when it's done. I don't like just smashing things together and getting it out on the track. It's a lot of work getting like the little last bits done. It's very tedious, a lot of very like small work, but it's the stuff that I think makes the car look the best. We got the inside of the car looking dialed with, you know, some dash delete pieces. The digital Holley cluster actually has a delete behind it. We got these really cool floor pans from Carbon Tech. They're a brand out of Poland. Those are nice like feet holds. I also have these carbon door panels from Carbon Tech as well. Even did the rear deletes, so you get carbon fiber in there. Carbon fiber. And it's just like that stuff that I think really makes a car look nice when it's a race car, but it's not just like thrashed together. I'll still figure out like something to do for the lower area. I have some carbon trim and pieces I'll probably modify to fit down here, but that won't get done right now. That'll happen after Grid Life. For now, all I gotta do is put the rest of the trim on, put the headlights on, and put some windows in, window trim, just basic small stuff, and finish this thing up and go testing. All right, we got the windows on. These are Plexi from Condor Speed Shop. Cool fact is they come like pre-taped, so you could actually just paint the backside of them black, so they look kind of OE. Got the front, the rear, the sides, and then Ryan actually had some front Condor Speed windows that he had laying around from his E36. And these are great because I'm just going to use them as transport windows. So they pretty much just pop into the door. So when your car's on the trailer and stuff, car's not getting all wet from condensation or if it gets caught in the rain or going through some dirt or whatever. So that's pretty much it. Car is as good as it's going to be for tomorrow. They're closing up in a couple minutes and that's pretty much everything I can do. So head out tomorrow super early, go up to Button Willow with the guys and see how this testing goes. So see you tomorrow morning. All right, we made it. Beautiful Button Willow. Early morning. Left the house at 5 a.m. But we're here, and the car is here, and it's running. Today is the first shakedown day. We're here with my buddies, SoCal Drivers Club, one of my favorite people to come run with. It's pretty much a private track day, 25 car count max, so it's a great day for test and tune. And James Clay and Phil from Bimmerworld are also here, and they're gonna help sort this thing out. Now I'm driving a big scary race car. I figured I had to up my safety equipment. So I finally picked up a Hans device. This is a head and neck support device. And I also got a brand new Stilo composite helmet. This thing is beautiful. I love this brand. I've always wanted a Stilo, so I finally picked one up with a really cool visor. And I've actually had this race quip suit and shoes for a long time. I'm actually gonna start doing all the proper safety equipment. I've got the Lifeline belts, I've got the Lifeline fire suppression system, and I feel like this is a type of car where it's not your casual track day car, even though it is, but it's on a pretty high level, so I wanna make sure that I got all the safety equipment, and I don't know, I'm terrified of this thing, so be safe. The man, the myth, the legend, James Clay. This guy here, he's helped me out ever since the E46 M3 days, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, when I told him I was gonna sell that car and build a dedicated race car. I didn't think it would take this long, but he was always my go-to guy to help kind of figure out what to do. And this isn't really his path for a race car. This isn't the ideal race car. This is a fun track day, dick around idiot car that I built, but he's willing to help. So this is the first shakedown day. What am I doing first here?
Well, you know, as always, and we joke, but we're kind of serious, like you run it around the track and you make sure nothing falls off. Like,
oh, 100%.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
Like you've driven on the street a little bit, but that's, you know, now we're hitting bumps. Now we've got G-loads. I think we've got G-loads. I mean, this button willow is so dusty, man. I assume we're gonna find some grip somewhere and get some G-loads. Anyway.
They're from the East Coast. It's his first time driving button willow. They're here for Beamer Challenge tomorrow, and he's doing some testing today and found out the hard way that this track isn't that great in real life. It's fun, but it's not the best track.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure nothing falls off. Just make sure that everything stands a track test, and then we just start working on it, right? Like it's all about setting a baseline. We'll work on the baseline for the dampers and make sure we've got the right one in there. Baseline for the aero, you'd asked about the wing angle, and you know, of course, the front aero. Not so much you can adjust actually on the aero itself. So we'll work on balancing that stuff out. But you know, it's all a matter of starting with the baseline, getting your tire pressures. You know, you got to get those.
Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is set pretty much learning any tire. For if you're only going to do like 2 laps, you're not going to put a ton of heat in them. I'm going to start at 30 PSI. It's like a very rough number. It's probably too high, but we'll start with that. I was talking to James. The big concern for starting this journey on track is damper settings, because we have the MCS 2 ways. So you have independent rebound and compression, and then wing angle, which we spoke about earlier in this episode. But I think getting like a professional's opinion on where those should be first will be a good start, because realistically, shaking down the car, damper settings, wing settings aren't really gonna mean anything until later on today when we start going faster, but I got them here, so why not?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 6 compression, 8 rebound front. I'm gonna check the other side, make sure that's what we got. 6, 7, 8. And now we're doing this, and you started with the way the dampers came in the box, and it's always, you know, in case the UPS guy twiddles some knobs, or in case it just didn't right. It's always good to count it out, make sure we know exactly where we're starting, because if you don't know what your baseline is, it's not truly a baseline.
Yeah. And do you have a chassis specific baseline, or do you just go like in the middle, or?
We do have chassis specific stuff, but you know, to rough it in, I want to be like 2/3 of the way up from full soft in the front and like halfway in the rear. That's just like rough numbers.
Yeah. And what that's going to do is give us a good baseline to go out, drive the car, know that we record our settings, and then you can make changes from there. But like James said, I mean, you know us at the shop, you don't know if someone's just spinning around your settings just for fun, or if they're bored.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Actually turning the knob right there, man.
Wow. Just making sure he doesn't crash again.
It's good to know that what you have is exactly what's there.
And I'll tell you, one thing that I see a lot is, you know, these things turn the same direction, but if you look at the way these cans are mounted, I've got a left, I've got a right, I've got hoses going off, you know, different directions. Some people just turn the knobs, they're like, oh, I need to tighten them, and they turn, you know.
Right, not looking at the plus or minus.
So then all of a sudden, once somebody, you know, you contaminate it. So you got to be super careful when you're doing damper settings to make sure you prevent contamination.
Yeah, smart. We got the damper set to a preliminary number. Now, the one thing I had asked him is the front aero is a fixed splitter. That's all you could do, besides ride height and etc. The rear wing has a ton of adjustment. I don't actually know what that means. I mean, I do, but he knows better. So
a wing makes you feel good, but we need to be careful about that, because it also causes front problems, right? We need the front to grip. So you have all the rear aero you need and all the adjustment you need with the holes there. So what we're trying to do is match front and rear aero. So front, like I said, not adjustable. The challenge with not adjustable is it's all done by car configuration and ride height. So you've got a splitter on the front, you've got a little extraction behind the front wheels to me, and it's tough to tell because you got a fender over kit. So if I was in the shop,
true ride height.
Yeah, on an E36, half the time the fenders have moved anyway. Somebody's rolling them aggressively, etc. So we're gonna rough it in and try to figure out ride height. But a lot of times I do it by the rocker panel, and if I was in the shop, I'd measure to a suspension point.
Gotcha.
But I'm not. So, you know, from doing this for 25 years and knowing how to squint just right, I think your front is a little high, and I would, you know, it's like raked out flat or possibly even a little bit rear down. I'm doing my best based on the rocker panel. I assume, you know, sometimes we have limitations, like I can't get the front down lower, and then there's of course a point with the control arms where you don't want to get the front down lower. You get into bump steer problems and some other stuff. Let's go try it out. Let's go drive the car and see what we need to do to balance that front. We can always add rear wing if you're in the fast stuff and you say, you know, rear's getting away from me a little bit. Let's toss in some.
Okay. Well, you go drive. I'm gonna go shake this thing down and let you know how it goes. Thanks, man. All right, so we're gonna go out, I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna go out and do this. So basically, in short, what Aero does is it's putting downforce, pushing down on the car to give your tires more grip. The rear you could adjust, but you don't want too much rear wing without enough front splitter because then the car is gonna understeer. So we don't have a big aggressive front splitter on this car. So what we're gonna try to do is balance out the wing to where it's doing enough to put power down, but not enough to just make the car push. So let's go out and try it out. Oh my God. All right, so I did 2 quick sessions or outings. First one was really just to feel the car and see if anything falls off of it. Didn't. Second one, we made some adjustments to the dampers. We closed up the dampers a little bit more, added more rebound and compression, and this thing feels pretty good. I'm still not pushing to go fast yet. I still got a lot to do in learning this car. Overall, super impressed. It's a lot easier to drive than I thought. It's a lot more civil. I think it's gonna be a good car. A little bit more work, gotta do some more sorting, but overall, very happy with this thing. We're gonna go out, we're gonna keep testing, get a little bit more confident in it, and maybe we'll put down a lap time today, but I don't really care. And that's a wrap. So I'm actually in Las Vegas. We're at the SEMA show right now. The E36 was phenomenal on track. I can't believe how it made it through a test day at Buttonwillow and 2 days at Laguna Seca back to back without a single issue. It's been a real journey. I mean, I completely lost interest in this car for a bit just because life changes and stuff. And to be honest, I thought this car was gonna be really bad. The motor made so much power, more than I wanted, and I thought that the car would never put power down and it would be a complete disaster. Pushed through, got the car done, and it's incredible. I can't believe I slept on getting this car done for so long. It puts the power down to the ground great. It's got great dampers, great diff, great tires. The thing puts all 520 foot-pounds of the torque down in second gear without even any drama. It's so fast, it's so fun, it's everything I want out of a track car. That's it, it's awesome. Sorry it took so long to get it done, but if you wanna watch this thing continue to get developed, I'm gonna be doing as much development content and track day content as I can on my personal social media. Put a ton of miles on this thing. on track, get out to as many events as I can, really use this thing, make up for all my lost time over the last like 2 years of not having a track car. So thanks to everyone who's followed this build along the way. I know it's been a long ride, but you know, now it's done, it's out, it's ripping. So let's go have some fun. And that's a wrap for the series.
We're gonna get all those chassis parts installed, all the new front end components. Maybe we'll get this thing rolling by the end of the day. Man, how sick is that? Everything's real snug though. Yeah, front suspension's in just like that.